Hello, everybody. I'm here finally. Wait, I did it on time. I'm here on time. Guys. Hello. I hope y'all can hear me. Ooh, hello, Liquin. So today we are gonna do some critiques for our Patreon supporters. Oh, hello, Ace of Pancakes. Hello, Saul, Cena, Hexenbog, Pinky. Sorry, not Pixie, Pinky. Hello, Cortado, Cheyenne. Oh man, there's so many of you here. Ooh. Yes, we're also gonna do a Q&A. And by we, I mean me, because Bones is sick and it's just me today. So, hey, hello, Bob. Hello, Mothcry. Hello, Liv. Yeah, so all our critique seekers are here, so I guess I'll get started. Oh no, Bones is dead. Oh no, he died. That's sad. His throat is very sore. Cena. Hey, Dad. I'm Dad. Hold on, I'm opening a pop. And I hope it doesn't explode over all my equipment. Okay, we're good. Poor Bones. I know. He's having a hard time. Hello, Stacy. Chimera. Hello, hello. Nightwalker, hello. Boopadoop. Very good. Okay, so I don't know how long these critiques are gonna go. Basically, we missed the last critique stream that we would have done last month, just because we were away and May was crazy. So we asked our patrons to submit more pieces than they normally would. So I'm gonna go through a lot of them. It might take up an hour, it might take up more. So I'm gonna start now, and then once we're done all these critiques, then we meaning me, will do a Q&A. So, woo, save up your questions until after the critiques. And yeah, if you're like, hey, I want my stuff critiqued, then go check out our Patreon, because that's one of our rewards. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to start with Ace of Pancakes, who I saw is somewhere here in the chat. Hello. Hello, Ace. Okay. So, let's start with these first two pieces. I went, before I started the stream, I put all these into nice little Photoshop documents so I can draw on top of things if I need to. And I've got all my comments here that you guys left, so I'm here for this. Okay. So, let's see. Okay, so your comment was, these next two are some digital pieces I was using to test out a new coloring style. The characters aren't related to my comic. Thoughts on the colors in general, critique would be appreciated. Also, do you think that this sort of coloring style would be viable to have in a comic? It took me about an hour to color each of these, and I'm getting faster with it. Okay. As for like if this is a coloring style that would be good for a comic, I think it definitely is. It seems very simple, and like you said, you're getting faster at it, which is awesome. Yeah, it looks great. It's very colorful and bright, which I love, and it'll definitely shine a lot on like a webcomic, I think. You might run into some trouble with some of these colors if you decide to print your comic. So maybe check to see if, like, test how these would print, at least like these color palettes, for example. But the style is definitely very cute, very readable. I like it. I think it's good. It's good for a comic. Okay, so as for my thoughts on the colors. Okay, so let's focus on this first one here. Oh, too close. Sorry, guys. Okay, so this first one here. I I love the vibrancy of these colors. I love how bright and clean it looks. I think that's awesome. And like the colors all harmonize really well. And I like how you've done some nice like contrasty pairings side by side. So for example, you've got like green and red together, which are complementary, and you've got the orange and the blue. That again will contrast nicely with each other. I think it, Sorry, just putting my thoughts together. I think that the top of the character and the bottom of the bust don't quite match up. Like, I know this isn't like, this sounds like you're just testing out an art style and a coloring style, but for this particular piece, it doesn't feel very cohesive. Like, if I cut it in half, I wouldn't think that like these are from the same character. So if I cut it off like that, they're two very different color styles that are kind of, or not color styles, two color choices that are kind of mismatched. But I think if you drew like, say, the entire character or an entire piece with all these colors, you could tie it together pretty well, honestly. I think it's just in this bust, the colors might need to be a bit more balanced. I think there could also be a little bit more contrast in this piece and in this coloring style. I noticed that with the other one as well, not quite as much, but I find with this one, for example, the features in the face kind of get lost because there isn't much contrast between the bright green lining their eyes and then the red. So for example, if I turn this like black and white, let's see. You can see how the gray, the green of the eyes kind of blends in with the skin tone. So it is kind of hard to see where the eyes are. Like, I guess, you know, the white of the eye pops, but it's hard to see like the line of the eye, and it's hard to understand like the iris as well. I think this could easily be fixed by either like darkening the outline of the eye, so then the iris doesn't have to compete with the skin color, or you could make the skin color darker, like a darker value. Same with, I think that's really the place where like the contrast gets lost the most, is just right here in this eye section. Same with the scarf as well, this bandana. Like, the nice thing is on either side of the bandana, like where it touches the skin and where it touches the rest of the outfit, there's nice contrast between those values, but within the bandana, like just a little bit more, like some more darker values in the shadows would really help make that pop. And because it's great here where you have this like the shadow under the jaw and the shadow on the ears. Like, I think that really makes them pop and stand out, and they're kind of where my attention goes to the most. And same with the blue down here. I think that this like nice dark value you got going here is really nice. And yeah, other than that, I think they're great color choices. They just need a little bit more contrast here and there. So there you go. So let's move on to the next one. So this one, I think your contrast is definitely a little bit better. Here, let's try and focus on this a little bit more. So again, I think you've got some good contrast between the different parts of this character. So for example, the costume is very different than the skin tone. The hair feels very different. The one place that the features kind of get lost is like right around the nose right here. Because you have lots of nice little contrast between the eyebrows and the skin and the hair and the skin. You've got some nice shadowing under the jaw. I love the contrast between the green outfit and then the red and pink of the skin and the hair. I think that's great. I think the colors are very balanced in this picture. And I do like how you've brought like kind of a bluey green into the shading of the outfit, which kind of like it's not the exact same blue as the eyes, but it kind of like gives that hint of the colors. Like that is like tippy toppers. I love it. Good work. But I find that right here, sorry, let me just grab a red line so I can show what I'm talking about. So like right in here, oh my goodness. Oh. So like right in there isn't much contrast to show that like the nose is here. Even you could do a bit more shading on the ears to show a little bit more contrast. Though you do have like the line work, which really helps kind of differentiate like the sides of the face to the ear. But yeah, I don't know if that means like shading in maybe the bridge of the nose or maybe just using some darker lines on the nose. That's up to you, whatever you feel fits into your style. But yeah, overall, I think the colors in this piece work really well. I really like the coloring style. It feels like it's very simple to reuse in your comic. It's very cute. So yeah, good work on this one. Poor Sticky Bones. He's having trouble. Okay. So on to the next piece. Oh, I should also tell you, Ace, Bones is gonna do, so you also submitted a script example. Bones is gonna go and critique that for you outside of the stream because he's not here to like talk about it out loud. So for now, I'm sorry I won't be critiquing your script because I don't know how much help I would be. But Bones will get back to you. Okay, so for this final art piece by Ace. Okay, so for this drawing, I tried it start to finish digitally. I usually draw the sketch traditionally. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the pose, coloring, and design specifically, but if anything else stands out, I'd be happy if you pointed that out too. Okay, cool. I really like this piece, first off. I think, again, like the top right one, the color palette you've chosen feels very balanced, and I like a lot of the color choices. They're very bright. It's very cute. Let's see. And as always, I really like the way you use shape in your work. It's always very cute and simplified and stylized, and it's just like satisfying to look at it. I don't know how to like qualify that, but like it's just nice to look at. I really like it. Okay, so as for, let's start with the pose. Okay, so the pose, I think I do, sorry, just thinking out my idea here. Okay, I think it is a very strong pose. It helps, it feels like it has motion to it, like there's lots of implied motion. I can tell what this character is doing. It looks like they're jumping up to like smash someone in the face with this bat. And I like how there's definitely tension in this pose, and I can tell that like a downward motion is about to happen and stuff's gonna go down, and it's great. Oh, hello. And I find it's got lots of visual interest, like the silhouette of this pose is not boring. It's very interesting. Like, I like how there's this gap here, and I also like how it's kind of highlighted by this outline you have going on this picture. It makes everything very stark and nice, and 10 out of 10. But yeah, it's got a very good silhouette. If you blotted out everything and it was just like a silhouette, I could still tell that they're probably holding like a bat, and that, you know, this is their coat, this is their legs. It's good. Nothing gets lost. It's really nice. I think you could heighten it a little bit, especially in the legs. Though I guess it depends on like what point in the jump you're showing. So like don't worry about this too much. You could make it a bit more dynamic, probably, maybe, I don't know. This piece of advice I'm not exactly sure of. But you could try a few different ways of structuring the pose so it shows a bit more force or gravity in what they're doing. So for example, you know, for the bat, instead of having it straight up, you could also show that you can kind of imply the arc it's gonna do by having it back here first. So you kind of imply that it's gonna come down like that. For the legs, you could also have them doing something like this, just to add a bit more visual interest, maybe some more overlap in the characters, like heckin' body, I guess. Though honestly, I think you're still implying the right stuff through the pose that you have now. But just in the future, if you ever want to like try out more dynamic poses and stuff that has a bit more like diagonal kind of cross in their say like their hips and shoulders, and so adding like tilt to characters' hips and shoulders adds like tension to their poses and makes it a bit more dynamic. Yeah, Q Nikki is actually mentioning it in the chat right now. To get a more dynamic pose, an easy trick is to offset the hips and shoulders so they aren't parallel. Yeah, so like that just adds a bit more tension and dynamicism to the pose. But that's up to you. It can also depend on where this character would be in their jump or their swing. So it really just depends on what moment you want to capture in that. Okay, so moving on. 10 out of 10 pose. The coloring. Again, like the previous portraits, I think the colors are really nice. They're very vibrant. The way you have kind of rendered everything is very soft and cute, especially in the face. I feel is like super adorable. Though like you can still tell their expression, like that isn't lost in, I don't know, I just really like the way you make your shapes. Anyways. Like you can still tell that like they're very intense and they're angry, and like there's like intensity in their eyes and in like the little snarl on the lip. That's really great. The intense eyebrows. I love these eyebrows, by the way. They're fabulous. You've got lots of great contrast between the different parts of this character. The only one where there might be a little bit of trouble is with this bandaged hand and then the bandage of the bat and the color of the bat. I think it gets lost a little bit in here, but I think that can be fixed by just adding maybe like a darker shadow behind the hand, or maybe like darker shadow rendering the hand. Or, you know, you could always choose a different color for the bandage, but I don't think that matters too much. I think, honestly, if you just darken some of the shadows here and added a little bit more contrast up here, that would be perfect. But with the different elements of this character, there's lots of good contrast. There's good contrast between their tattoo and their arm, between the dark color of their, like, coat, sweater thing. And I really like what you did here, where you have the dark coat, and then their skin and their hair is kind of dark. Well, at least it's around the same value as the coat, so if they were like flush against each other, they might kind of run into each other and be kind of hard to parse, kind of like how the eyes on the first piece you submitted were. But I like how you've added in the white like fur on the collar that like frames their face, so you get a lot more focus on their expression, and then it's, you know, you're not losing the colors in their face and the colors on their coat. So 10 out of 10. Very good choice there of color. And yeah, and there's still great contrast between like their stomach and their shirt and the underwear and the pants. I do find the pants are a little bright and distracting. You might want to shift down the saturation just a smidge so that they're not stealing as much attention, because right now they're kind of the brightest element on this character. Like, maybe the eyes might be the brightest, like they're very saturated and fiery and bright. So I think what you want is, like, you probably want the focus to be on the face, maybe the weapon. But I think a lot of the focus is going to the pants right now just because they're so saturated. So yeah, just bringing down the saturation, maybe bringing down the value a little bit might help, so it's a little bit darker and a little more gray. Maybe, like, you know, you don't have to go as dark as like their shirt, but something around that kind of saturation value would probably like look real nice. And I love the little feet, as always. Yeah, overall, I think this is a really great piece. I love the design choices you've made. They're very strong, very striking. I like the kind of squareness to a lot of this character, especially in their clothes. Like, you know, the squareness of the sleeves and of the I guess the body of the jacket. And then in the pants as well, and the boxers, and the body is just very like rectangular. And then I do like how there's also some kind of round parts to this character, like the bat, for example, is very round, and then it's mirrored in kind of their face shape. And then there's little circles all throughout their design, and I think that's just very strong choices. And I think Pan, you definitely have like really great shape language in all of your art, and just keep up the good work. I really like this piece. 10 out of 10. Heck yeah, I hope this critique was helpful. Yeah, also great work on like your first drawing that you've done like fully digitally. That's awesome. Right? The feet are so cute. So yeah, Pan, are there any questions you have or anything I didn't cover? Oh, I'm glad it was helpful. I'm just gonna take a sip of water. It's very warm, and I can't have the fan on because it would ruin the audio. Oh, okay. Oh. Seltzer gang? Heck yeah. I got all my seltzer water. Okay. Pan, just let me know if you have any questions. I can go back and answer them. Or so you can have the fan on once in a while. You don't mind. I covered everything? Okay, cool. I'm painting while I watch this. Oh. I'm always so happy when you guys are like working on your art while we're doing videos. That's like 10 out of 10. It makes me happy. Have you ever been on your phone and then look into your sketchbook and something and pinch to zoom? Oh, you're looking in your sketchbook? Yeah. It's like when you're drawing traditionally and you're like, where's Control Z? Okay. So moving on to you, Hexen. Are you ready? Okay. So for this piece, it's 2 pictures of the same image. This was for a school project. We were supposed to illustrate a quote or something, and I chose a bit from Golden Dandelions by Barnes Courtney. Unfortunately, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. How dare you call me out, Soul? It's pronounced Z, it's not Z. Okay, so I'm sorry, I don't know what Golden Dandelions is, so this quote might be lost on me. Also, 2 picks because one is shiny and the other one is how it actually looks in daylight as opposed to my bad dim lamplight. Okay. Okay, so I do like how you can pick up, like, it looks like there's some gold paint here, so I do like how you can pick it up with the lamplight. So I do appreciate both the pictures to kind of highlight that nice little part there. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay. So I find okay. So I really like the movement within the characters. I think that is very nice. Oh no, my battery is low. What the heck? Sorry, one sec. Uh-oh, I think my charger's giving out. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. I've got a really old computer charger and it sometimes just doesn't charge, so oops, I better keep an eye on that. Okay, anyways, Hex. I really like the movement in these characters' poses. So let's see. So like, I especially love it in the hair, the blue hair here. It is luscious. I really like the way you have textured the hair, and I like the richness of the different values. So like, I love how it gets so like nice and dark and rich in the shadow beneath her hair, like on the underside of it. I like the gradient you've done between where it gets really light at the bottom and how it gets darker to the top, and then I like how it's also like nice and bright at like the bottom of the shorter strand, and then in her bangs, like 10 out of 10, really nice details. I really like that. And I like how you've been able to mimic it here in the back with the underside of her hair, and it's still like you still have the gradient, but it's just like a tad darker, and it's really nice and rich and really good. I like I also like the gradient in her dress. Like the bodice is nice and dark. There's great contrast between the other character and her, so that they're overlapped, but you can still tell the two different characters apart. Really nice. 10 out of 10. Good contrast. And again, I really like the gradient from the top of the skirt down to the bottom. It's a very nice, it's like the values are different enough that it's not an exact match to her hair, but you can still see the like it feels different from her hair, like it's textured differently, which is great, but it's still a nice, like, very cohesive design choice. Very nice. Same with the other character's hair. I like how flowy it is. I also like, oh shoot, I didn't even notice, but I do like how the characters match the two different portions of the piece. I think you've balanced the colors really well. So for example, I like how the shape of the brown hair mimics kind of like the shape of the ground, and I'm assuming they're dandelions. Woo, maybe? Just because it said dandelion field. Or golden dandelions. Yeah, I do like how it matches the shape. It matches like the warm, earthy tones as well. The color palette is very cohesive for both the characters, and then I like how she matches the sky, and I like the contrast in all this. It's very good. Well done. I do think the composition feels a little flat to me. It's hard to say because okay, so it is supposed to be dandelions? Okay. I thought so, but I didn't want to, like, be wrong. The composition. It's hard to say because I don't exactly... Because I guess it depends on what you intend. I think it does feel like there's a lot of empty space around the characters, and they're kind of, like, right in the middle of the composition. Whereas I think if maybe they were moved to, say, like, one of the... oh shoot, what are those called? Oh, focal points within the piece. So for example, if you take like your canvas and you split it vertically and horizontally into thirds, these little points here are focal points. So they're like the most dynamic place you can put points of focus in your piece. So for example, if you just move the characters like over to this side or over to this side, it might make for a bit more of a dynamic composition. Though, at the same time, I think you could also make an argument that there's a balance between the dandelions and the sky, and then there's a balance between as well on like each side of the characters. So that's what you're going for. Heck yeah. Well done. Yeah, overall, very good piece. Love the poses, love the colors. 10 out of 10. I also, yeah, the textures you've done are lovely. Because I do like how the texture in the sky of the lines kind of matches her hair a little bit. Again, like I said, the hair of the other character really matches the texture in the dandelion, so heck yeah. Good job. Lots of nice little details. Okay, on to the next one. So this one over here, the rainbow one, is based on a sketch I did for the same project. Didn't have much to do with the quote anymore. I just like the idea, and you know, Pride Month can't contain the gay at TM. Hope the orange and yellow are distinct enough, because while it's fine on my phone, my laptop screen hates the orange. I think it looks good. I can definitely see the difference between the orange and the yellow, so I think you're good. Okay. I really love the way you did the sky in the background. That is, like, luscious. You're really great at getting those, like, really rich dark values, and really rich dark colors, like, so nice. And I love how the planets really pop, especially, like, this one over here, really pop against the night sky, or universe or space or whatever. Oh, I love these little, like space dust textures you got going, like, ooh, right in here. Ooh, so good. Okay, 10 out of 10. I like the, let's see. Again, your composition for this one, it feels a lot stronger in how balanced it is than I found the other one did. It feels... I don't know what it is. It feels a little more intentional with how you have the mask in the center and how you have the elements kind of like coming out to the edge. And I think that's what helps make it feel very like balanced and intentional, is that you don't have all your elements just like stuck in the middle. They reach out and they do other things inside the piece. So that is lovely. I love the stark contrast between like the darkness of like the space, and then this lovely white mask, and then the wonderful rainbows. Yes, Vaughn says it's got good leading lines, exactly. So the rainbow leads you back towards the face, and it brings you back out and back in. Even like the lines on the direction of the space dust also just brings you around the piece, and you know, your eyes go from like the rainbow to the planets to the next planet to the rainbow to the planet to the etc. Like, it's just really lovely composition here. I like your, so like I said, I love the brushwork within the galaxy, and I like it on the planets as well. These two over here really strike me, especially, like they seem very lovely and bright, and I love the textures on this little red planet here. And I like the way you've handled the brushstrokes on the rainbows. Especially with the warm colors, like the yellow and the orange and the red. Like, they feel very rich and flowy and really help with keeping the energy going. It gets a little rough on this green one here, but it's lovely, like down here and stuff. But yeah, I really like this piece. It's very gay. I'm down for this. Heck yeah. It resonates with me, I gotta say. But yeah, great work. I can't say enough how much I love the texture in the background. Like, that's amazing. I don't know how you did that, like, through traditional painting, because oh my god, that's so good. Moving on. Alright, so you said that these were some sketches from Mermay. Looks like day 4, day 3, day 7, day 5, and 6. Nice, okay. Pose-wise, I think the strongest of them is this one down here, with the two intertwined? Oh yeah, the green color was harder to do than the rest, even though the colors were all from the same set. It eventually gave up on making it smoother. That's okay. I figured it had to do with the paint. But yeah, great work. Right, but the mermaids, because I like just like the swirling feeling of them. Like, it's really nice because you get it in like their arms wrapped around their waists, and then their tails intertwining, and like the little swirls of their hair. And you get the same feeling from like their gills, because they kind of curve down like this, and you just get this like feeling like this throughout the whole piece, which is really nice and adds a lot of visual interest. And same with their ears and the curve of their eyes. Like, it's very strong, and I like it. 10 out of 10. It's also got pretty good contrast. Like, there's lots of nice little bits of like good dark values. Whereas I find like up here they're a little bit more washed out, though that might just be from the photo. To be honest, the lesbian moms are also my favorite on the page. They're really good. They're really cute. They look so sassy. Yeah, I also like the pose on this one. I like the expression on this one as well. The pose and the expression just feel very open and very friendly and very cute. I really like how you put the little day in the swoop of their tail. That's a really cute, like, composition choice. I find with day 4, the character's torso seems a little bit too thin to hold their organs, I guess. Sorry, my pen is freaking out. So you might want to, for side views like that, because it's you have it over here very nicely, like you can tell that like their torso is nice and thick and holds their ribcage and stuff. But I find the back needs to be pulled out a little bit, and the front of the chest isn't too bad. I think you could get away with it, but I think that there needs to be a bit more structure to the back here. Though it is hard, because if you're trying to do like a very like slender, sinewy character, it can be easy to kind of like make their torso a little bit too thin, but I think you just need to broaden out the shoulders a little bit and define those, and then that would look great. And the pose is good, and I like the flowiness of the hair and the tail. 10 out of 10. I love the little fins on the back. Matches their kind of severe expression there. Day 3 is really cute. You've got good, like through all of these, you've got really good like echoes of shapes and stuff. Like I like her hair feels more round, if that makes more sense. And I like how it's mimicked in like the swoop of her tail, and like the shape of her like shoulders and her back. Yeah, it's good. Good job. Yeah, I definitely need to work on side view bodies. They're really hard because there's so much like compression that you have to like account for. It's really hard. It took me a long time to figure out like side views. But yeah, good work. These are all really cute, and I love the lesbian moms. 10 out of 10. Okay, so then this next character over here. A first sketch for a D&D NPC for my campaign I did during a draw pile. They are an Aasimar, who, I don't know what that is. Is that a D&D thing? I'm sorry. Who lives in the woods with a horde of bugs. I still got a draw. Okay, 10 out of 10. A good bug babe. They are Darej, 19, and oh my god, okay, when I read this before, I was dying at the memes. Never learned how to read. Yes, their name is literally just Jared backwards. I gotta make the one player who understands my memes suffer. I got your memes. It made me laugh. I was like cackling when I was putting this together. Aasimar are a D&D race? Okay, cool. They're an angel? Okay. Cool. Okay, that explains the halo. I was wondering about that. Some blessed race, damn. Okay, cool. Okay, that explains a lot. Makes sense. Okay, sorry, so the next paragraph is for the character below. Okay, so for Darej, I just want to call him Jared. Ursula's a confused mom. I am. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm gonna take a sip of seltzer. I don't understand their D&D and their dice and their dragon. Okay, so I really like the face. He looks so miserable. It's just so good, and it's all like just expressed with the eyes. It's just lovely. Okay. Right, so I love the real droopiness to their eyes. I just want to like clean their little face and help them. You playing that Dices and Dragons is me. YouTube isn't loading the stream. Wait. This is why I come to streams. Thank you, PK. Okay. Right. So you got this lovely droopiness, and the shape is definitely mimicked in, like, the little kind of, like, they're not, like, cherubian cheeks, but they kind of feel like cherubian cheeks, but, like, saggy or skinny, like, lives in the woods. I don't know. They look miserable. Ursula rolling on the floor laughing. Ursula being a confused D&D mom and fangirling over sad boy. Shut up. Okay. So yeah, I like how you've got the kind of the curvy shapes mimicked in like the cheeks and in like the curve of the legs, etc. And like the circular collar also kind of accentuates that. I like the shape of the bangs really accentuates that shape, like that kind of like slanted down shape, which I think is a really nice like echo of shape. I find it could be accentuated a little bit more in the side strands of hair. Like, they just feel a little bit too, like, I don't want to say flat, because that's not it. It's like, they look just kind of like straight cut, where, like, I think you could add a bit more curve, and maybe give it that kind of, like, wing feathery shape, same as the bangs up here. But I do like the hairstyle overall. It feels very, like, you cut it yourself without a mirror, which I think kind of matches what you're going for. They look like they're kind of in a crisis, which, real good. I like it. Yeah, they definitely have this very, like, ragged look to them with all the cuts in their clothes and like the bruises and like how dirty their freaking feet are. Wash your feet. Which is all like really nice details. The one thing I'll say though is I don't feel like their costume really says like D&D to me. I think it's just the t-shirt matched with like leggings. Honestly, I think it's the t-shirt that's really throwing me off, where it doesn't feel very like fantasy costumey. If you showed me this character without the context of like it's a D&D character, I would say they're from like an urban fantasy, like a more of a modern setting, just because of the clothes are a placeholder. Okay, never mind. I won't critique them then. But yeah, overall the shape of the character and the hairstyle and the eyes. I love the eyes so much. I think they say a lot about the character and their personality and their situation, and I really like it. For now, size. Okay. I just couldn't think of anything. Okay, then you're good. Don't worry about it then. I won't do any deep critiques on that. I think it was just the t-shirt that was throwing me off, but yeah. 10 out of 10. Very good. But yeah, I think when you're designing the costume, you've got, like, I love the shape of the bangs and the eyes. If you just bring that through the design of the clothing, you're Gucci. You got this. I love them so much. I just want to take them home and protect them. They're my baby. I'm adopting Darish. I'll teach Darish how to read. Be my sweet angle baby. Mom, stop. I'm also excited to see them with more bugs, because bugs are cute. Okay, so for the next character, another NPC, also during a draw pile, Swift Rain Texabi Shapechanger Rogue. Oh, draw pile didn't let me just change the line color, so I couldn't make the tattoo markings obvious on their fur, but you know. Just for sketches anyways, made some color mistakes and stuff too. Okay, so I won't take any points for the tattoo stuff and the color stuff. because I know draw pile can be a pain that way. Okay, so first of all, this idea for this character, I love them already. Forcibly adopts. This character too, I will also adopt. I won't take points. I won't deduct points in this point system. Original score 10 out of 10. New score 10 out of 10. They're all 10 out of 10. They're all good. Okay. So, first off, love this character just as an idea. Cat rogue. Yes. Yes. Okay. I do like, even when they're in their like human form, their expression is still very cat-like. I think that's great. I love the pose. It's very poised and very cat-like, and they look like they're about to jump down from a ledge and stab you. They're like the villain who's like appeared and they're like, oh, I finally found you. Time to die. I want to pledge on Patreon just to submit something Ursula doesn't rank 10 out of 10. They're all... they're good dogs, Brent. She's fangirling over every character because they're all good. Their expression and personality is inspired by the cat knife meme. Yes. I can see it. I like how all your NPCs are just memes. Okay, so if we're looking at the shape... Oh, hi, Fido. Hello. Okay, so if we're looking at the shapes... Okay. So I think you've got this very strong, like, this kind of shape. Like a pentagon? Yeah, I think that's it. Not pentagram, pentagon. Because you can see it like in their chest and then in their hips. I guess it's kind of implied in their pose too. That's cool. Okay, I like that. And you can feel it in their, like, the shirt they're wearing as well. Yeah, that's a very strong shape, and I really like how you've brought it into the pose and into their shape as a character. I think that's great, and into their clothing, of course. I guess it's even up here in their little... Dang. I know, you've got kind of like squares and pentagon shapey shapes. And their hairstyle feels very like... It's just like a hairstyle that I like associate with like the gay villains. I don't know. It's just very like, it's cute and elegant, kinda. It's like I like it. I don't know how to describe why I like it or why it fits, but it really fits. I'm sorry. I mean, for reference, I don't call myself Dungeon Master or Game Master. I like to use Meme Master. Very good. Meme and meme. Dungeons and memes. But yeah, very strong shape, strong pose. I would like to see... I know it's hard because they're changing into like a cat. Like I like the middle stage of their shape change, where the shape of like their hair and like expression in their human face is still kind of showing through in like the middle stage, but I find in the final stage, I think it might be just like the shape of the head, how it's changed a little bit, where like the jaw is less defined. You kind of lose that kind of like pentagon shape. Or I think if you just changed like maybe the shape of the fur, maybe the shape of the face, like you can still keep the feeling that it has over here. I think. it does help, like, just seeing the transitionary stage in the middle. You can see how they get to that final stage, but yeah, that's just, that's all. I think it's, yeah, the shape's just a little bit lost at the end when it's just down to the cat face. So if we could bring that back in a little bit, I think that would be good. But overall, really good character design, really cute, good meme.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Hey, Bones.
Just quietly, then 8 here.
Okay. So the final one from Hex. First sketch of an NPC, Little Goblin. The player characters met last session named Trop.
I don't want to accidentally unplug you.
Don't do it. Everyone's like, Bones! Okay. Okay. First off, 10 out of 10. Very cute. I love the way the pupils contract, so they've got like little cat eyes, where it's like all big and cute, and then it's like, oh, murder eyes. Oh, and the little tail wags. Oh, that's really cute. I like this character. I like how scruffy they look. I think the color and just like the little kind of chewed up texture to the ears, and then like the really, like the hair looks almost like moss or like plant matter. I think it's just the colors and the texture, but like they look like they belong in a bog, and I'm kind of down for it. I like the color choices. They're very strong. I like the green matched with the pink especially really pops. I'd be curious. I wonder if you could bring the pink in more throughout their design. Like, you do have a little bit with like the little scuffs on them, with like the scuff on their face and like on their legs and stuff. Maybe bringing more of that pink in, because green and pink are such like a strong contrast. Or maybe even into the eyes, though the orange that you've got going is really nice, especially like how vibrant it is compared to like the desaturatedness of the skin. Yeah, overall, very good color choices. Again, the costume, I don't know if this is just like a first draft at their costume, but I think it could be a little bit more fantasy-y.
Should study more fantasy clothes so it comes into your head faster.
Oh, okay. So to repeat, in case Bones was too quiet, I'd recommend studying fantasy clothes or like historical clothing, just so that you kind of understand what the basic clothing looked like, because everything was made differently than like how clothing is manufactured now, and like the materials are very different. So like people might wear tunics or stuff with really puffy sleeves. You know, you didn't have any like stretchy fabric, so most stuff would be loose, and then you'd tie it in places with like, whether it's a belt or like a piece of cloth or whatever. A lot of stuff was just tied in place. Like, you couldn't have anything that was like form-fitting unless you had buttons, which is another way people got form-fitting clothing. So like, just looking into that will really help, like making even a character who's just supposed to be wearing like a shirt and pants, you can still make them look like a little more fantasy. I hope that helps. Gotta work on fantasy clothes. For now, I mostly put placeholders. Yeah, that's fair. Because if you're just working on the design, you might not want to immediately throw clothing in if you're still figuring out like their body shape. Yeah. I think you'll do fine if you just like just look at fantasy clothes when you're trying to come up with costumes, because it'll really help with like getting that like fantasy feeling to even really like basic clothing to characters. Yeah. Fashion magazine tips. It's clipped in the back. Okay. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Do you have any questions, Hex, or anything you wanted me to cover that I didn't? goodbye, Andy. Gotta go, but it was nice hearing you guys. Hopefully I can stay longer next stream. Hell yeah. We'll see you next time, Andy. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna drink more seltzer. It's hard to talk all by yourself. Well.
You're not alone, Mac is here.
Okay, sing for me.
She just wants my craisins.
She's crazy for craisins.
I just need to just sit up.
That's fair. You're good for now. You're welcome. I hope my feedback was helpful. Okay, so we're finally moving on to Mothcry. See, I figured these critiques would take a while. We're already halfway through the stream. Ursula's turned me into an uwu monster. You're welcome. Oh. You missed a bunch of critiques, Pie. Pardon me. Okay.
Last but not least.
Yes, last but not least. Mothcry, okay. So, all these are going to be for the same story. Okay, so everything here is for the same thing. 4 character designs in one environment. Okay, so for number 1, this green one here. A girl who will eventually turn into a fish, either a catfish or an alligator gar. I'm not sure yet. Yo, I love it. I love it already. Every time I see something from this story, Moth, I'm like, ooh. What is this? I want to read it. Okay.
Last time you made that noise, Fatal got up and tilted his head and you heard him.
Ooh. Fatal.
You might want to repeat that because I don't know if they heard me.
Oh, Bones said the last time I made that noise, Fatal stood up and tilted his head. Ooh. Right now he's like, I don't care about you, Mom. Dad is crinkling a bag. Alligator gar, best fish. I love that pose where she's stretching. Heck yeah. Survives everywhere. Okay, so let's take a look at this character. So number 1, she cute. 10 out of 10. So, first off, I love how, like, I like how broad she is. Like, and it's very consistent through her whole character. Like, she's got this, like, kind of square. Sorry, just grabbing a color so I can draw on top. She's got this, like, it's not quite a square, like, it's very rounded, but she's got a bit of a wider jaw, and she's got, like, a square nose, and, like, even, like, the crown of her head is kind of squared, and it's, like, squared in her hair. All her clothing is very square. Like, her legs are very, like, kind of made of squares and stuff. I really like it. I think that's very, very nice, like, shape language, and it's very consistent.
It's hip to be square.
Bones, please leave. You're uninvited.
I was never invited. I can't be uninvited.
I also do like how in this picture here, she's got like the little fins coming out of like her dress. I feel like that's a cute little, I guess it's like a romper type thing, but it's like, oh, I see what you did. And I do like the little curls in her hair. I think just because like the rest of her is very squared off. I don't mind it so much down here when her hair is like let down, because this particular curl here is kind of squared off. And some of these curls feel a little bit more like angular, but I find in this section here, like right here and here, they just feel a little too round and they don't quite fit in with the rest of her, considering that like the squares are so defined. I think if you bring like a little bit more angle into the swirls, it might make it feel a little bit more cohesive, because right now they feel a little bit tacked on. Because, like, you have roundness in her eyes, which feels right. So I think, like, there needs to be, like, a small alteration, possibly, to the curls. I'm not sure. It could also be helped by adding in more of that curl to other parts of her design to balance it out a little bit more. So don't feel pressured into removing something if you really like it. And yeah, I love this pose of her stretching. It feels very natural, and it's got like nice tension to it, and I love the kind of waterfall of her hair. That's really nice. Lots of movement to this pose, and I really like her body. It looks really cute. For once I didn't miss the stream. Aw, welcome, little Miss Sun. Oh, I see. I don't think the curls being so round fit her personality. Okay. So, yeah, you could, because you can have curls and have them be a bit more angular. For example. That's not a curl, Ursula. And still have them be curls, opposed to, like, something really round like that. So just play around and see what works. I do like the flowiness that like the curls add. So I think the shape just needs to be tweaked a little bit. Overall, very cute. I can see her turning into a fish. Personally, I like catfish just because it's a cat fish, and I love their.
got the whiskery curly thing going too.
Oh yeah, Bone said they already have the whiskery curly thing going on. Though I don't know what an alligator gar looks like.
Oh.
Anyways. If she turns into a catfish, the curls make sense. But yeah, overall, very strong design. I really like it.
You're not getting my cranberry. Stop asking.
Marika, ask more. Maybe he'll give you the cranberry. These ancient fish. Okay. Okay, so moving on. I like this lineup of characters. Very good. Real sketchy, ignore the style shifts. Okay, can do. Jack, okay, so number 1 here, I guess this is Jack. Romantic interest character, he's supposed to resemble a candle, so I tried to make it look like subsurface scattering and make him look a little melty. Okay. So then there's Robin, protagonist. They're very messy and very reserved. Aunt, energetic mentor character, went for squares. And I already got the antagonist, he's just there for comparison. Okay, I remember the antagonist. He's like a wolf in human skin. Okay, so let's look at these characters. Okay.
You got one.
Okay, I like the I do like the different like body types and shapes for all the different characters. Like they're all very distinct, which is really nice. Because you have like Jack who like gets like very broad at the bottom, and like the silhouette of the clothing really like accentuates that kind of wideness down at the bottom, which is nice, and it's like mirrored all throughout the clothing and stuff. For example, like I like how you made the sleeves like billow out, similar to how the bottom of the cloak billows out. Very nice touches. And same with the shirt, the tunic. Oh, sorry, grabbing a pillow. My back is aching. And then meanwhile, Robin is very like rectangular and very like like straight up and down, which is really nice. Like a very good contrast to kind of like the sweeping shapes of Jack. And then I really like how the ant is very broad in the middle. Like, here, I'll show you. It's like this. Like, I really like that. I like how they're all very unique and different, and you can really tell them apart. Like, you can tell their personalities just by, like, the way they're posed and the clothing they wear, which is, like, so nice. And, yeah, just very, very strong lineup of characters here. For Jack, yeah, I really do like the way you have treated the skin. Like, it looks very, like, lit from within, which is very cool. The same impression kind of comes with the coloring on the cloak, or jacket, or whatever you want to call it, the robe. But yeah, but I like how it kind of feels like there's this, like, inner light coming out. Like it looks very hot and warm in the middle of the face and, like, the middle of the palms. It just, and I like the color choice. Like, it all feels very warm and very cohesive. Like, yeah, and I definitely get the sense from, like, the way the way you've colored it, it does look like they're kind of, like, shiny and melty, like they're made of wax. Like, I think that's really cool, and I think you've done it very well. And you especially get the sense, like, with the melty eyes, but, like, the eyes are kind of melty, but it also looks kind of like a makeup choice, which is really cool and nice. It makes a nice little touch. And, like, the colors are very strong. I think there could be a bit more heightened contrast, because I think you have all the right colors and color choices. Like, the robe is a little bit, like, lighter and warmer than, say, like, the tunic, and then like, there's definitely contrast between, like, the bottom of the tunic and then the pants and then obviously the boots and stuff. And I do like how the silhouette is, like, cut with a belt and cut with lines on, like, the hems and the, what do you call it? Not inseam. What would you call that? Like, the edges of the robe. And textures on the tunic and stuff, and with the necklace. Like, there's lots of interesting kind of, like, disruptors throughout the outfit, which is really nice. But I do think that the contrast could be heightened. I think, for example, you could maybe lighten the robe, maybe make it a bit more, like, fiery colored. Like, it feels like you're trying to keep the colors kind of, like, earthy and grounded. But I think that the color of the tunic and the color of the robe are a little bit too similar. You could either darken the tunic and lighten the robe, or vice versa. And I think you could get, like, dangerously close to having things blend together a little bit too much. So just heightening the contrast will really help. Other than that, I think it's a very strong design. I like how the curl of the hair feels a lot like smoke. I love the hat. That's a really nice touch. And kind of mimics, like, the sleeves and the roundness of the character and stuff. I think overall it's a really strong design. It just needs some contrast to be heightened. Oh, goodbye. There we go. Okay. So look at Robin. So I really like Robin's design, 10 out of 10. The contrast, I think, works a lot better, and I think it's just because there's a bit more, like, diversity of color within Robin's design, where you've got kind of, like, these pinky reds and this browny pink color.
Like how the characters match color language-wise.
Yeah, that's true. So Bones says that he really likes how the characters match color language wise. So for example, like Robin has the red of the ant and also the yellow of Jack. Yeah, I like how Robin, like, they seem very down to earth and kind of reserved. You can feel it a lot in the pose, and kind of like, they seem to dress very comfy, which, I don't know. And they, you know, like, they're wearing, like, a big sweater and stuff, and their shoulders are kind of, look like they're pulled forward, so they're kind of like, I will...
They sure can see you right now doing your acting.
Shut up. They get that reserved kind of introvert feeling. But they also seem like they have, like, I like their fashion style. Like, it's very cute. Like, I like the choker that they're wearing. That's a nice touch. Where I think, like, without it, they might, I don't know, it just adds this little, like, fashionable piece to it, where otherwise they might look a bit like, I keep thinking elementary schooler, but I think it's just because of, like, the bear motif on their pants there. But overall, very strong design. I like the contrast between the different parts of their outfit. For example, like, the bright yellow compared to the skin versus the boot. The contrast between the yellow sweater and the pants. Same with the yellow and the, you know, it's broken up by the collared shirt underneath. And there's lots of great color cohesion in Robin's character. Like, I like the echoes of the yellows and the echoes of the brown. Same with, like, the gray of their hair matches, like, the gray under their, of, like, the base of their shirt. That's really nice. Yeah, they're very childish. Okay. That makes sense. I think you really captured that well with their design and their costume. Oh, I like how their one shoelace is untied. That's another good kind of, like, childish nod. I like it. This is really, but they're in their 20s? Okay, it's because that's what it feels like. They feel kind of, like, childish, but they also seem, like, older. Yeah, overall, very strong design. And I love the ants' body shape. They definitely feel like an older character. Like, it doesn't feel like it's a young person who just has, like, wrinkles plastered onto their face. Like, they have an old body type. Not to say all, like, elderly people look like that, but... Again, the color cohesion is really, really nice. Like, I like the kind of purpley vibe to the grayness in their hair, and it matches with her sweater, and, like, the blue going, like, through the sweater and the pants and the shoes. Again, there's lots of good contrast between all the different portions of the outfit.
It feels kind of mid-tone in the middle, like, between the shorts and the shirt and the... Like, not value-wise, I feel a bit lost there with the sweater, shirt, and pants. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
I can see it. The shirt, I think you can get away with. Okay, so Bowen said that there's a bit of a problem with, like, a mid-tone thing going on, and I agree. I think the contrast needs to be pushed in the colors. So for example, the pants and the sweater feel very similar, value-wise. Like, they're both kind of, like, mid-gray value. The shirt is also a little bit mid-tony, but I think you can get away with it because it's, like, a more vibrant color than the really desaturated blue and brown. So I think you either need to, like, darken some of these elements, whether it's, like, darkening the shorts or darkening the sweater or brightening up the shirt maybe, or a combination of all that. But yeah, I think it does get a little bit mid-tony in the middle, and just heightening that contrast a little bit or heightening those values will really, really help. But overall, very strong design, very good shapes. Yeah, I really like these characters. Well done.
the last part is the...
Yeah, so...
I like this one.
Yeah.
That is great.
You can't hear Bones. He says he likes this. This is an office inside the trailer Robin lives in. It has one of those shadow lamps, and I wanted an environment that Robin can go in that I could manipulate very, very easily to foreshadow things to do with the antagonist. Okay. Oh. That's cool. Okay,
It's good. I like it.
It's good, I liked it.
That's what she does every time.
Every time Bone shows me his writing and he's like, what do you think? I'm like, it was good, I liked it. As I like try to figure out my thoughts.
It's hot.
It is hot. It's very warm in here.
I have the oven on because I'm making fries.
Oh, okay.
So I might be loud when I grab my bag of fries.
How dare you, Bone?
I'm so sick today.
Oh, you're having a bad day. Poor Bones.
Back in the chat. An F for Bones' immune system.
Can I get an F for Bones in the chat? Pay your respects, please. Okay. So, I really like the above view that you have here. Oh, sorry, got a yawn. Ooh.
How dare.
I think, like, this is a really great idea for when you're designing rooms and stuff. And this feels very easy to read. Like, obviously, like, it'll be easier to understand once you've got, like, all the details in the room and stuff, but, like, you know, I can tell, like, here's the door. I think this is a door here as well, but, like, Robin's room, I can tell this is a kitchen. There's, like, 2 bathrooms, the aunt's room, there's an office. Like, it's very easy to read, and I think it's a really nice layout. And I know, like, you have horror elements to your comic, so I think this will be a very good setting for things to feel kind of claustrophobic and cool. And it's especially highlighted in this room that you've done with the shadow lamp. Like, that's so cool. That's such a cool effect. I think you're going to be able to do this really, really... this, like, the mood to your stuff is so great, and it's going to work really well for, like, all the horror elements in your comic. Oops, sorry. Oh, this is such a cool idea. I love it. Such a good set piece. Because it makes it feel so, like... It looks like there's, like, vines crawling all over the walls, so you're, like, trapped in. It feels really cool. But yep, I can tell there's, like, a shelf, something covered by, like, a sheet. Is that, like, a trap door in the ceiling? Looks like. And then there's, like, kind of cloths nailed over the walls and boxes piled up and a desk that's kind of half covered. So, like, I know you're doing, no, it's just a little bit to show the lamp hanging. Oh, okay. I see. Oh, I get it now. Sorry. I understand now. Okay, so it shows the lamp hanging down from the middle. Okay, so for a little bit I thought the lamp was on the wall, but it makes more sense that it's in the middle of the room and the light is shining on all the walls. So, okay, cool. Okay, so I understand that, like, this study feels like it's there to show the shadow lamp, and I think that's really effective. It's got very moody lighting. It's really good, as I keep saying. I think the overall environment needs a little bit more color variety and a little bit more contrast as well. this probably isn't an issue while you're doing like studies like this and like design and stuff like this, but when you're actually in the comic, my worry is that got a yawn. Everything feels like it's kind of washed in the same color, and a lot of the elements kind of blend together. So I think you either need to add more contrast into the shadows and stuff, so you can kind of parse everything a little bit easier and kind of understand the shapes more, or you need to, sorry, I keep throwing it off the screen, or you need to add more contrasting color. So for example, you know, you can make these sheets blue or white or something, or whatever color you choose.
I'm sorry.
Bones, you better be sorry.
I'm sorry, it's so loud.
He's okay. But yeah, a little more contrasting color just so you can tell different elements apart. And then you can kind of see how the lighting will affect it once you understand, like, either the contrast levels or the color contrast levels. But for now, like, this concept looks super cool. Yeah, I think part of it, what's also confusing me, is the lighting, like the shadows on the walls. It makes it a little bit difficult to understand all the structures, like, underneath. But I think that'll be fixed once it's, like, actually in your comic and you can focus on different things within each panel. Because if I look past the shadows, like, everything seems really real structured and, like, sized pretty well. Like, there's nothing that feels, like, out of scale. It's like, it feels like a very lived-in room, which is cool. So yeah, overall, good job. I like the little wolf poster. 10 out of 10. Awoo.
Alright. Does that mean I'm gonna do your 30 minutes of comics?
Yes. So, but yeah, let me know if you have any questions, Mothcry, or if there's anything I didn't mention that you wanted me to. And then I'll do art and do Q&A stuff.
Yeah, and I'll die.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. Bones.
Goodbye, Bone.
I'm hot, but I'm waiting for fries. Because they won't hurt my tongue. I have too many cranberries. They give me nutrients, but they're giving me the acids. There's like too much like sugar and acidity.
That's fair. That helped a lot. No problem. Well, thank you everyone for submitting your art. Like, you guys are really great artists, and it's really cool to see more and more of your characters and stories and stuff.
And see your improvements.
Yeah. You guys are always getting better.
Better and better. More and more powerful.
Heck yeah. So, if you're watching and you want us to critique your stuff, you gotta go on to our Patreon. I think it's like $8 a month.
Yeah.
To get your work critiqued. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up anytime and you'll be included in the next show.
Yeah.
So yeah. Time to go work on Nin Point.
Nin Pint. 9 pints.
9 pints.
9 pints of uwu.
One day soon that will be me. Woo.
One day more.
One day more.
How is everybody? Do you miss me?
9 pints of cats.
Oh my god, I'm dying. I'm sorry.
Baby boy.
The heat doesn't help. But you go into the AC room and it's so dry.
Aww.
Hey, Pablo.
Pablo Picasso.
Pablo.
Pablo. So, Bones, you feeling better? No. He feeling bad.
Pablo Picasso.
But he needs fries.
Yeah, and then I'll need soup when you're done.
Need soup.
What time is it?
3:30. So we got half an hour left.
Okay. Do half an hour art as
Yeah.
prescribed by the 100 Days Challenge.
Yes.
Next week will be much stronger Q&As because I'll be able to help.
Mm-hmm.
It's Canada Day coming up.
Oh yeah. And 4th of July for our American friends.
Years rolling. You see rolling Lear.
Oh, he's so cute. Little potato arms.
He's licking his face.
Oh, lovely.
Fado's licking my toes.
Fado.
We missed you, Uncle Bones.
Oh, I miss me too.
Aw.
Ugh, I don't like being sick, guys. Who does?
Who does? Maybe like a masochist?
Yeah. Someone with Munchausen. Oh, Lear, he's trying to play with you.
Leo, play
He's
with
throwing
your
his
brother.
tiger in Lear's face. Like,
Aw.
play.
Play.
Play with me. Like, Lear, I got a tiger. Play with it.
Leo's just unaffected. He's like, no, I'm tired.
It's hot.
It's hot. I don't want to move.
He's flopped over. He's moving now. Fado's on top of him.
Oh yeah, our dogs hate fireworks too. Namely Matica.
Fado's unaffected.
Fado doesn't care.
Our
So,
cats
yeah.
don't care either.
So yeah, we hate fireworks season because Matica is traumatized.
And fireworks season is also thunderworks season.
I know.
When the thunder blooms
The
happen.
thunder bloops.
Blooms.
Bloops. Nice page, Ursula. Thank you. She gets real spooked by the fireworks. Yeah. I'm sorry for your puppy. That sucks.
Matica tries to climb to the highest point of the house and then falls off of it.
Yep.
It's great. So try to climb through a window. You're like, stop. Apparently she fell off the couch.
Mm-hmm.
She was trying to climb to the top of it and just fell off of it.
Yeah.
Stupid, scared baby.
It's hard when you're
Oh,
scared.
Fado found Malthea, I think, in the burger.
Oh no. He gonna eat the burger.
He's like, play with me.
Play.
I think it's because he's been cuddled and asleep with me all
Yeah.
morning.
Like,
He's
I
now
wanna-
awake.
I wanna do things.
Wanna do
I'm a
thing.
puppy.
I'm baby. I'm most baby.
So if you guys have any questions about comics, let us know.
Don't ask me.
Don't ask Bones.
Ask about art stuff if you have any art questions.
Do you have any comic art questions? Because Bones does not have the voice for long answers.
Or the brain. My
Or-
brain's being like squished against my skull.
Ugh.
You know that feeling?
Yeah.
I'm gonna lay on the floor.
Okay. My poor boy. My poor Hubs band. Oh. Oh man, I could go kiss him. Oh, give him a kiss. Yeah. Smooch, smooch. Well, my dog tries to dig a hole in the kitchen when the fireworks happen. Oh, poor baby. That's really hard. Fireworks are illegal where I live because of animals? That's great. I wish our place was like that.
You wouldn't listen.
Yeah, true. We have lots of people who illegally fire off fireworks.
It's because we don't stop.
You can't ask writing questions. Bones can't answer. I can't tell you how to write a plot twist. I'm sorry, Jordan. I can tell you how to draw a plot twist.
Draw a plot twist, Ursula.
Draw a plot twist. So you read your script and you draw what happens during the plot twist.
Whoa!
Rude.
I'm not playing, I'm laying
Oh,
down.
when fireworks happen, my cat hides under my car. Baby. It's
Oh my God,
okay.
we're sleeping.
It's okay, Jordan. Bones will be able to answer more writing questions next Q&A, and he'll probably have videos about plot twists and stuff.
You don't know me.
I don't know your life.
Ursula, you should draw all our fish, because like, they all look the same, but they don't. It'd be a fun challenge.
Draw all the fish's personalities.
Well, because the one is just, their shape's so slightly different. We're exaggerating it, make it fun.
That's true.
Not right now, obviously.
Oh.
I'm just sick and naming things. Also, there's a tiger on my foot, because someone's trying to...
Fado's just shoving his toy on Bones. On his foot. This is like, please play. Okay, do you have advice for creating uniforms for a cast of characters? Okay, for uniforms, you want a uniform that... Okay, so it's basically like... So you know how when I was like talking about Moth Cry's cast of characters, how in a lineup they all feel very like cohesive, especially like from color wise and stuff, and having like repeating elements in their designs. That's basically what a uniform will do for your characters. So you want to design your characters so they kind of match the design of your uniform while still being unique. And I think it really helps to have your characters alter their uniforms to show off their personality. For example, you might have a character who rolls up the sleeves of their uniform. You might have a character who wears like the jacket of their uniform around their waist. You might have someone who wears like jewelry, or someone who's put like, who's maybe altered like their hemline or something, just to show like different personalities. Like I did that a little bit with like the page characters in 9 Point, where they're all wearing like little page outfits, but like Mitzi wears her little waist tie differently, and she rolls up her sleeves where other characters might wear them long and stuff like that. If you're looking for inspiration for uniforms, I'd recommend looking at anime. Yeah, anime is kind of like the key to seeing many different uniforms, because sometimes they'll base them off like school uniforms, sometimes they're based off like military uniforms. The Sailor Scouts, for example, you could look at. Like there's a whole bunch of different things you could look out for uniforms. Like if you look at like, you know, like if you're trying to design like a plug suit for a mecha anime, like you could look at how different like wetsuits look from like surfers or something as like inspiration. Yeah, you know, or scuba divers. What?
I'm just laughing at surfers. I saw a video of someone who got water in their wetsuit.
No.
It's so funny because it looks like a balloon.
Oh,
so tight.
Getting water in your wetsuit. Oh. Oh man, there's lots of questions. I have a question. When designing outfits, is it okay to have characters with very different styles of clothing, like a protag that is very down to earth and an antagonist who wears really wild fashion? Hell yeah. That is a great idea. You can definitely show like the difference of their personalities through their outfits. Because if you're worried about the outfits being so wildly different, they don't look like they belong to the same world, I think there are ways you can like pull that back so they feel similar. And I think part of that can just come down to like the style of your art, can tie it together. Understanding your setting also helps. Like if you're doing, say, like a historically inspired thing, you can look at like what that actual time period looks like and like design high fashion versus like regular fashion at that point, or whatever. If you're looking at modern stuff, you can look at like couture clothing versus like what your average Joe would get from like Walmart. But yeah, I think it does help to have like characters with wildly different clothing styles, because it can really like separate either like what team they're on, whether it's like team evil or team good, or just like another rival team or whatever. And just you can contrast their personalities as well. Do you have any advice on making cell shading look nicer and interesting? It really helps to understand how to simplify shadows. I'd recommend starting from like looking at photographs and then trying to simplify the shadows down to kind of like a cell shading style of shadow, just to see like what shadows you need to take away and what you want to keep, and how far can you simplify it and still like register the information. Understanding lighting really helps as well. I think understanding color also helps. It depends, because there are lots of different styles of cell shading. For me, I find like, and this is just my style, if you have a very different style, it could probably turn out differently. But I try not to overwork it too much. Like, I try to keep it very simplified and put down like the bare minimum of shadow that I need. And I find my cell shading definitely improved when I understood like how to balance my colors a lot more, and things started to look a lot nicer. So you might be running into a problem where like the characters are all very different, like saturations and values, or everything is mid-tone, so it all kind of blends together. Like, it just depends on where you are. And yeah, I think I could probably help more if I was like looking at the work and give better advice on that.
And your work can be looked
What?
And your work can be looked at for the look.
No, I'm not plugging the Patreon again. I'm not that much of a sellout.
Funny.
How do you improve on backgrounds, particularly coloring them? I would recommend studying like actual photographs of settings. That helped me a lot. Where like instead of trying to imagine how a room looked and trying to figure out how to color it from my imagination, it really helped to just copy like room designs that other people had already made, like interior design, I mean. So that really helps. Practicing really helps a lot. Sorry, that's not very helpful advice, is it? Yeah, I really recommend just getting reference and then practicing drawing that, whether it's like drawing your room or drawing photographs or like going outside and drawing things. I'd also recommend studying what artists you admire have done. That helps because they've already like simplified things and you can see how they've tackled maybe more complicated backgrounds. And it's totally fine to copy in a studying tool. So, heck yeah. Any advice on drawing a cast of characters that seem cohesive together but are still unique? So I think when you're working on that, you gotta decide like what elements of the character you want to be cohesive and which ones you want to be kind of bespoke for every character. So for example, you could tie them together with their color scheme. You know, if you want to have a theme of like red, yellow, and blue for their team outfits and colors, just make sure that all their outfits and like coloring on their character be like have the through line of those colors. You can also give characters like similar shapes while also like designing them differently. Because you can have characters that are all based off, like, say you have a team and your characters are all based off triangles. There's still different, like, variations on triangles you can use. For example, you could have a character who's made of, like, really round, soft triangles. You could have a character who's really sharp and pointy. You could have a character who's got more, like, made of equilateral triangles. So they're a bit more sturdy looking. Like, there's lots of different ways you can treat the different variables of a character so they're all similar, and then arrange them so they all look like different characters. And it really helps to just draw them all together in a lineup and just kind of tweak things from there so that you don't accidentally design the same character 3 times or something like that. I hope that helps. Oh, my voice is tired. How much time do you spend on each page / panel? I feel like I spend way too long on mine. For me, it depends on the panel. I'm also very fast at sketching. Oh my god, Marika. The demon has appeared.
I booped her slightly.
How dare you boop her?
I'm Lear.
You just flopped on the floor like Lear. How much time do I spend on each page? I think... Okay, so like, it depends on the part of the comic I'm in. Because from one page, like start to finish, it probably takes like several hours. Because like thumbnailing usually takes like 10-20 minutes depending on how much thought I need to put into the thumbnail. If I have to color that thumbnail, that adds an extra like 10-20 minutes. Penciling can take anywhere between like 20 minutes. Well, if it's like a page that has like nothing on it, like it's a big splash page that just has like one character in it, for example, that will go by really quickly. So it really depends on like the... It depends on the, Oh, bless you, Bones. Oh, bless you. Oh, sneezy boy. It depends on... It depends on the complexity of the page, because if it's like a page that has tons of panels on it or some really like complicated poses and or like there's one page I was working on that was like a city scene for like the city of 9 Point or whatever, the capital, where it has tons of characters and like it's very background focused. Like that takes me a lot longer to sketch. Like that took like a couple of hours to sketch out, whereas like this page maybe took like 20-30 minutes to sketch. And then inking can go anywhere between like an hour and a few hours. And then coloring usually takes me several hours. So it really just depends on the page, but I think I usually spend like 2 to 3 hours per page at least. They take a long time. Like, don't worry about it taking you forever. You'll get faster the more you do it. How do you... Oh, no. Chat. How do you color a consistent sense of lighting for each panel? So it actually helps having the... like, understanding the space you're drawing. So if you have, like, the above view of the space and you understand like where the sun is coming from or where the light source is coming from, then you can understand like, okay, if this is where my character is standing in this space and this is where the light is, this is how it will affect them. And you kind of have to be able to picture like where they are in 3D space in the room. And like I said, that really helps to have like an above view of the space and then like have a 3D idea of what the space looks like. And you'll just get better with it with more practice. And I, of course, make mistakes and have to go fix them later. It's also totally okay to like fudge up the lighting if it's for dramatic purposes. Because if it's like you have a call out panel where something like, I don't know, you have a character who's angry and suddenly you break the lighting just to like accentuate how angry they look, that's totally okay. Oh. Sorry, just reading comments over. Scared me. Ooh, what scared you? Madoka? In my comic, there's only one panel per page, and I spend a lot of rendering it in a painterly style. It usually takes 40 minutes to 2 hours. Yeah, if you're doing a complicated like painterly style, it's gonna take longer than if you're just like flat coloring something, or like if you stop at inks. Because I know 9 Point is probably going to take me a little while because I have to do like a bit more of a painterly style with it and it's a lot more rendered. So I feel you. But yeah, 40 minutes to 2 hours, that's not bad for a comic page. And you'll probably get faster the more you do it, right? As you kind of like streamline your process. Oh. Oh, I don't understand how people live stream for like 8 hours a day.
They have gamer chairs.
They have gamer chairs. That would help. Cool. Oh. So yeah. Any more questions?
Oh, Lear.
Lear being cute.
He's laying on a trash can. Just flopped off of it. His like head's hanging off of it.
Oh, he's flopping.
On the trash, fishy trash.
What kind of traits would you carry through to a younger version of a character? I mean, obviously, like, their shape language, like, it is hard, because the features do change.
The shape language can change. Like, if you think of Simone,
Oh, you're right.
shape language that's added to it.
Huh.
Because he adopts more of Kamina's shape language
Oh,
when he
you're
grows
right.
up. Where he's more round when he starts, and then he gets the sharpness as he
Right.
becomes more confident.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
But he kind of develops it throughout the arc, too.
True.
Because he develops, like, the star pattern. Like, when he initially grows up, he's still got that roundness to him.
Mhm.
But then as he goes out into, like, outer space and stuff, by then he's, like, super pointy sharp.
That's true.
That one's such a good example of, like, development of character.
Oh, yeah.
Character, design, how it changes.
True. So if you couldn't hear any of that, Bones said that Gurren Lagann is a really good example of characters, like, their shape language changing as they grow older. For example, Simone, he starts with very, like, round shape language, but then as the story progresses,
You mean how the story evolves?
as the story evolves, he gains a lot more, like, sharper points to his design, especially, like, toward the end. He's, like, all sharp points and hardly any circles anymore. I think you just gotta figure out kind of, like, the defining features of your characters that are gonna stick with it. I mean, you know, their coloring might stay the same, their eye shape might stay the same, nose shape. Because, like, yeah, it really just depends on how your character changes. Because obviously, like, a younger character is going to have more, like, a smaller face and, like, bigger ears and probably bigger eyes and, like, narrower shoulders and a smaller body, etc.
Don't
But-
your characters have a larger face?
What? Well, I mean, like, more squat.
Oh.
Like, they usually don't have, like, big tall jaws or, like chiseled features. Like, they have that baby fat on them still.
Yeah, their features are so big.
Yeah, true. They do have big features. They're just, like, also little.
Big heads.
Big heads, yeah. You gotta just kind of figure out what features you want to stick with them. Because you could have a character who's, like, has a complete transformation from when they're a kid to when they're an adult. Like, they could start, like, super, like, frail and tiny, and then once they're grown up, they're, like, super ripped and big.
Like me.
Like, Bones!
I'm a round boy.
Because, like, and then you could keep, like, a shorthand to the audience could be like, their hairstyle stays the same, or their eyes stay the same, or their clothing style stays the same. Like, it just depends on what you want to change. It can be hard, though, because people can change a lot from, like, childhood to adulthood. Ursula, turn the fan on, you sound tired. No, I'm almost done, don't worry.
What time is it now?
It's 5 minutes till the end.
Oh.
Could be a good idea to do, like, a color theme for different my bones. Do a color theme for different areas of your comic. I'm doing a comic where they travel to 4 different kingdoms, and I'm thinking about having each kingdom represent different colors. Yeah, that's a good idea. You can definitely, like, tell a lot through color changes throughout your comic. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. Cole Foxwell. That's a cool name, by the way. Hi, Maltia. There's a kitty coming to say hello. Your videos inspire me to finally just freaking start my comic 1 page a day. Aw, I'm so happy. That's so great, Jay. I'm glad our videos have helped. One of my many cats has vitiligo. Do you know what age they start to get spots at? Asking as I'm too lazy to research. I'm not sure. I don't know when that starts. That's when they get like the little like spotty, like they get white spots throughout their fur and it just kind of grows. Which is a very cool look, by the way. But yeah, I'm not sure when that starts. Cat characters, I mean. Oh, I thought you had like a cat that you found out like it had vitiligo in its family. I'm not sure when it starts for your characters. Yeah, you'd have to look that up because I don't know that off the top of my head. Oh, but yeah, Ace, if you ever want to look at like character designs changing as they age, like Gurren Lagann is like the tippy tops because all the characters throughout it have a glow up. Ooh, oh, I'm so sleepy. Okay, we're 3 minutes till the end, guys. So if you have a question, now is the time. Sorry, I'm just focusing on drawing for a second. I'll look into that. Gotta go. Thanks for the advice, Ursula. Oh, you're welcome, Bob. Thanks for coming. Oh, heck. How do you design forest scenes? So I had a lot of trouble with that with 9 Point, figuring out how to draw like forests and make them feel consistent and stuff. The thing is, like, if you actually look at parts of forests, they have distinct landmarks in them, which you can, I guess, kind of treat like furniture or features of a room. So for example, you might have like a path that runs through it that might have like stones or logs kind of marking it out, or you might have like a big tree as like a big set piece where they climb it or whatever. There might be like rocks that hang along the sides, or like so what I usually do is I pick like, or there might be water running through or whatever. I usually pick like whatever features I want to be the main things. So for example, with like this raccoon village, it's like there's a main tree at the entryway, and there's trees that have tree houses in them, and there's a path running up to it. So I pick like the main important set pieces that really make that forest scene seem unique, and then the rest is kind of randomized. Like I don't really mind like what plants I kind of fill up the gaps between the trees with, and I don't really care about like how consistent the trees in the distance look. It's like as long as I have my main like points of reference down, then I'm good. So that's usually how I handle my forests. What level of detail is essential for a background? I don't want to do fully detail for each panel. Hi, Malika. Come on up. Come on. Good girl. I don't want to do full detail for each panel, but neither do I want the place to look empty since it's based in a city. I would leave super detailed background stuff to like establishing shots. So that's where you kind of put all your calories into like adding background details. And then if you have, say, like a close-up on a character, you might... Oh no, there's a firework. Oh, poor Medical, come here. It's okay, baby. Oh no, I think I have to cut this short. Cause man, I'm quite scared. Come here, baby. Okay, so I'll answer Jay's question and then I gotta run. Come here, baby. Okay, so yeah, if you have like a close-up of a character, don't focus too much on the background. And as long as you have it designed, then you can show different sections in different amounts of detail, so you're okay. Alrighty, I gotta run. Thank you so much for your questions, and I'll see you guys in the next couple videos, and I guess our stream on Saturday, next Saturday. So, goodbye! Everyone send kisses from Attica in the chat. Okay. Fireworks, why? I know. Alright. Goodbye!